because even if you took every single racist person out of the system itself is built to be racist in itself. It's the textbooks that are racist. It's the teachers that are racist. It's the course that is racist. It's the SATs that are racist. The tests that they have to take at the end of the year that are racist. Every single part of it is racist. So even if you fixed the textbook companies, if a black man went and a black woman went and made her own textbook company and it was perfect, and the president of the United States, which I hate saying this, if God willing it is Joe Biden, if God willing it is Joe Biden, shut the fuck up, Christian, I'll cut you about this.
Kanye West, baby.
If Joe Biden went and sponsored that black woman's textbook company and it's a perfect textbook, and the next year every single child had access to that textbook, the teachers still would not teach that textbook properly, and the test at the end of the year would still be taught in English and not Abby. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is still fucked up to be racist. And also those not every school child that needs a free breakfast would still get it, so they cannot focus in school. And also the teachers themselves are still be overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly female. And you know, every single part of it is an issue.
White children are robbed of true education because they're not giving historical facts that will make them appreciate people who don't look like them. That's different from saying, you're born white, you have a privilege, that's your fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that because our educational system will teach radicalized history that's not true from a proper perspective, it robs you of an opportunity to appreciate your neighbor because you don't see him. So as a black kid, me not seeing myself in the history books is corrosive for me because it makes me think I wasn't there. But it's almost equally and just as bad for you because it robs you of an opportunity to see that others were there.
What are you supposed to do about that? What you need to do is abolish the fucking police. And here's why. I love talking about this, but I'll make it 15 seconds, I swear to God, and then I'll stop talking.
Defunding the police means defunding the prisons and freeing all the people who shouldn't even be in them. We need anti-racist policy policing the system, investing in people, not working against them. It's a government job, and the citizens pay for their violent display in more than one way. Time to take it away and make our own peace. Invest in communities, defund the police.
When we say defund them, we don't mean we leave them with nothing. We mean we redesign the infrastructure, heal the disjunction between their funds and their function. And we, the people who fund them, would place ourselves above to judge them and to weed their corruption.
Let's provide more homes, not lock up the homeless. Let's provide rehab, not chain up the hopeless. Don't assume the best solution is to fund the police. Fund the people, not the evil, make us equal police.
So what you're really saying is
defund the police,
relative to other services.
defund the police,
invest in your community,
create your own peace.
take control of policy and take your money.
What you need to do is abolish the police, because then you take the billions of dollars that they get, the billions with a B, and you take that and you reinvest it in the communities that need it most. You fund education, you fund affordable housing, you fund stable jobs, you fund Medicare for fucking all, you fund erasing student debt, you fund these things. And then over the course of decades, you fix these issues because the communities themselves know how to fix their own communities. You can't do this at the federal level. You can't do this at the state level. You have to do it at the community level. That's why taking it from those individual police departments and giving it to those individual communities will fucking work. You have to fix the needs, fix the core needs of people, because if you look at the suburbs, that's what works, where the white people are. Done.
Oh, true. Like, the fact is, like, and just the education system alone, like, you can't have an education system run by the federal government or by a state government, because every community has individual needs and they're not going to be the same across the board. Where, like, you know, maybe like a more suburban area, like, they don't need to budget, which and they do, and I don't know why, but they shouldn't be budgeting for laptops for the students at schools, because most of them have like a laptop or tablet at home, you know, but they still set aside this huge budget and are giving all of these students these things. Instead, maybe like use that budget towards hiring a larger variety of teachers, or creating more classes, new classes and stuff. But then maybe in the inner cities, that budget might better be utilized for Chromebooks and tablets, because maybe not every kid has them at home. And that's just the reality of life right now.
And also, kids at home might not have Wi-Fi, so maybe it's better used to getting to expanding Wi-Fi in a city 1 year. You know what I mean? There's things like my mom works in a district, in a town where she's a school nurse for a middle school, right? But she lives in a town where it's very segregated, almost down the fucking middle. So one area is where super, super, really, really rich white people live, the ones that commute to New York City via the train that's conveniently in the middle of the town. The other half is what you would call really impoverished, the Black community, who is so talented in the arts that they were able to get into the district for her middle school, which is specifically a really great arts middle school, one that is renowned all over the state. So it's it's the school where all these kids come together, and some of them are really, really rich, and the daughters and sons of celebrities and actors and painters and all of this. So they're really great at the arts for sure. But then the other ones are these kids that are not going to get these opportunities as soon as they leave this middle school and go up to the big high school. And they are making the most of these opportunities in a way that these white kids are never going to fucking understand. And my mom sees all of them because she's a school nurse in a way that the teachers don't, because they're only teaching certain classes or whatever. And she's she sees it all, and she's yeah, when I go to the special meetings for the kids who are in trouble, basically just the Black kids who are actually having problems at home that have nothing to do with why they're getting suspended in school. That's the school to prison pipeline. It turns out that the reason why they're 5 assignments late is because the school district only budgeted 1 laptop for a family, and they needed 3 for that family because they have 2 kids in high school, 1 kid in middle school. The middle school student is the one that's not getting the laptop at night because that's the youngest. So the youngest is going to bed instead of doing his work, because the high school ones are the ones that actually get to do the work, because the high school ones are closer to college. So the mom is giving the laptop to the high school kids. They have to prioritize. So the middle school kid hasn't turned in 5 assignments in a row, so now he's getting suspended and not getting to go to school, the only place he gets to learn, because he doesn't have access to a fucking laptop. School to prison pipeline.
Yeah, I also think suspension in schools is one of the biggest mistakes.
Idiocies.
It doesn't make any sense to if kids are behaving poorly or not doing work or struggling, even if they're acting out with behavioral issues, the worst thing to do is to send them home for a period of time. Because maybe they're being abused at home, and that's the reason that they're acting out when they're at school, and then you're suspending them and sending them back to that abusive place, and it's just a vicious cycle. And I mean, so I work right now for Disability Rights New Jersey, and so I do monitoring at psychiatric hospitals, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of is these people just get stuck in the system, and then they never get let back out.
Absolutely.
I do understand things in that nature of kids, children, teenagers tend to act out when they don't have too much of a good household type of situation, and then they even if unconsciously bring it to the schools, and that makes them act out in certain ways, and now they're distracting the class, anything like that. What would you do in order to fix something like that? Well, sure. Actually, I just thought of one. In-school suspension was something we had at my school. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, I think that all schools should have a school psychologist. And I think that if a kid is displaying behavioral issues, acting out, or disturbing the class, they should automatically have to have a meeting with the school psychologist and see what's going on. Because I think that's the only way to protect these kids, especially, and train teachers on knowing the signs of various things, learning disabilities, mental health issues, abuse, displays of being abused at home. Teachers should all be trained on these things, and that again goes to there being a lack of money, at least in New Jersey, a lack of money in the school budgets.
Absolutely.
Right.
A lot of it goes back to lack of resources, for sure.
So in that sort of case, Megan, because